Hey guys! In this video we're going to learn how to take a suede seat like this and turn it into a suede seat like this. So stay tuned and watch how we get this done. So this is a saddle I took in from a customer, and the seat has some staining from critters and it's been used quite a bit. Suede is a pretty fragile material, so we're going to learn how to handle it with care and how to keep it nice and lasting you for years to come. So step one is to wash or clean the suede. As you can see in this video, I've already started. The seat's a little bit wet, but you take a bucket of warm, soapy water. I like to use Lexol all leather cleaner. For suede, it's not as harsh as dish soap. If it was really oily, you could use dish soap, but for the purposes of this video, we're gonna roll with the Lexol first and see where it gets us. So I'm using a very soft bristle brush. If you use a very stiff bristle, you run a high risk of damaging the suede or any other leather that you may be scrubbing. Stay tuned, we're gonna kick things up a notch. So I'm going to go ahead and wash the whole saddle while I'm at it, just so we don't get the saddle wet multiple times. Last thing we want to do is introduce mold. Another common question I seem to get is, why can't we use like a glycerin saddle soap on suede? Well, saddle soap often has a tendency to leave a buildup residue, and that's the last thing we want on this suede. So keep that in mind before you pull out the saddle soap. So what I'm doing right now is, now that I've washed everything with some soap, I have this horse brush here, and it holds quite a bit of water, so I use it to help me rinse. Alrighty, so got the saddle ready to dry. I've got my fan here, and this is not a heated fan. You don't want to use heat when you're trying to dry it out, so don't put your saddle out in the sun, don't do any of that. Oh yep, right on target, so we are there. Let's go. Okay, so this one is totally dry now. So to rough this seat back out, I'm actually gonna take this Dremel piece of sandpaper. It's coarse, and that works pretty well, especially if we're trying to avoid grabbing this stitch. And do not put this on your Dremel and go at it like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you what I'm doing here. Just being super careful to avoid that stitching. All right, so it's all been sanded, and we'll go over it again after it's been oiled and conditioned. It takes the oil and the conditioner more evenly if you sand it first, and then it'll sand out even better afterwards. And we're gonna go ahead and start oiling it. So I got my well broken tack brush here, and I got my warm oil, and you're just gonna do the smallest amount, okay, and wring it out, okay? You can over oil this so easily. So I am wringing this out till there's next to nothing in it. Start oiling. You don't need to push that oil in super hard, just give it a nice coat. And you will have some uneven spots. It will get better, don't worry. You can see right here, there's a little bit, you know, kind of come out unevenly. That's all right, don't panic. Already that seat though just doesn't that look so much better than it did? Now, before you condition this, you need to let that oil kind of set. All right, so give it a couple of hours, let that oil soak in good. So something else to consider once you oil these is if you over oil them, not only does it just saturate the leather to the point that it'll collect a lot of gunk, but it'll rub off on your pants. Let the oil sit into the evening now, and you can see that the color's evened out a lot. Also, if I wipe my hand on it, the hand's not coming away oily from over oiling it. It just actually feels really good. It doesn't feel dry anymore. It just feels nice. So I know I'm typically a really big fan of Skidmore's leather cream, but for Suede, it's not my favorite because it has sort of a beeswax in it. It really makes the nap lay down really bad. So again, I don't love to use Skidmore's on this. However, this works pretty good. So it's just Lexol all leather conditioner. I don't love this on other parts of the saddle. However, it has its place. It doesn't darken leather, and it is non-greasy. So perfect for Suede in my opinion, but no, I'll use Skidmore's for almost everything else. So anyway, so let's give this a shot. All right, so got a fresh tack sponge here and my Lexol all leather conditioner. So same with the oil, you can over condition, you can overdo it. So I'm gonna try and soak as much of this into the sponge as I can so we don't end up just dropping a big dollop onto the leather. So I'm just gonna get this sponge soaking this stuff in pretty good. There, so now it should do well. So again, we're not going to press it too hard into the leather because we don't want to overdo it. So while I condition this saddle, I figured I would explain a very common question that I see, which is what is the difference between a slick leather, rough out, and suede? So slick leather is what is on the horn, the cantle, and the fork of this saddle. It is the top grain or skin side of a cowhide. It's what you commonly see getting tooled. Now rough out is the opposite side of the cowhide. It is the muscle or flesh side. So that is the nappy part of the saddle with on this saddle, the jockeys and the skirt are rough out. But suede is called a split leather. In other words, suede is what you get when you peel off the top grain and the bottom, and you are left with that middle piece that is super supple, super soft, but it's extremely thin and fairly fragile. You lose a lot of integrity when you split leather like that. So that is why we have to take extra special care of suede and make sure it's getting the proper care it needs. It's a common misconception that we should never touch suede because suede can be damaged too easily if we wash it or clean it. However, not taking care of your suede, not oiling it, not conditioning it, is far more damaging in the sense that leather, any kind of leather, all leather must be moisturized to be able to last. Alright guys, so it has been conditioned, just the seat, and it's been oiled and conditioned, it's clean, and you can see I already started with my sandpaper on this section. Can you see how different it looks? Only roughing out this area, so it's kind of cool looking. Here we are, the final product. This suede seat has been oiled and conditioned, it's all clean, it's been roughed out, and it feels amazing. Let me know in the comments what you think. The purpose of these videos is to instruct others on my methods of taking care of tack and how I take care of clients' saddles. If a viewer would like to attempt these methods on their own tack, they do so at their own risk and at the risk of their tack. If you do not feel comfortable with these methods, please seek out a leather professional in your area.
Thanks for watching this video. Please note that any hanging arrow instructional videos are meant to guide and support other equestrians in their efforts to maintain their tack. They are not meant to formally diagnose various safety concerns or other issues that the viewer may be having with their tack. These methods, while safe when done correctly, can actually cause damage to tack if done incorrectly. Please seek out a local leather professional if you need help.